He had never seen a cafeteria ant who looked like this before.
You're new here? I'm new here too.
This ant completely attracted Daniel, so he tried to talk to her every day when he was eating. He would make an effort to talk to her every day at lunch. The girl also saw his thoughts, but to his surprise, her attitude was very firm.
I don't date GIs.
Yeah.
Ever.
Until.
It's not gonna happen.
It turns out that Alice had promised her father she would never fall in love with a soldier because her father, who was an officer, told her soldiers, because of the long closed training, they had forgotten how to get along with women properly. He was afraid that his daughter would be hurt, but every day for the rest of her life, Daniel would never stop talking to him. What are you
doing Monday?
Washing my hair?
Go for a walk?
No,
Your eyes are beautiful.
not a chance.
Thursday.
Washing my hair again.
Friday?
Doing laundry.
Do you like me?
Nope.
I can't stand Daniel's hard work. Alice's heart seems to be shaken.
Sunday.
Maybe.
Maybe it is better than a no.
With the encouragement of her best friend, Alice decided to go on a date with Daniel. She lies to her parents that she is going to a movie with her best friend. The pretty dress made her father a little suspicious.
I'll be back before 10.
Alright.
Just as they arrive at the theater, the girlfriend and her boyfriend were right in front of them, showed off a little love in front of them. They were a little embarrassed, so Daniel decided to take Alice for a walk.
So, you...
I'm not making out with you. I know it just sit and talk means to boys.
No, not me. I just think you're beautiful and cute. And I just want to spend time with you.
Two people sitting on a park bench talking about their lives, hobbies and dreams. At that moment Alice suddenly asked,
Do you have a girlfriend?
Where did that come from?
Some guys think it's okay to talk to more than one girl at a time.
I'm not one of those guys. You're the only girl I want to be talking to.
Alice saw his sincerity, can't help but lean closer and closer. He was about to kiss. Suddenly her best friend appeared and interrupted the two. Since it was getting late, the two had to say goodbye reluctantly. Just as they were leaving, Daniel had the courage to call Alice, tenderly left a kiss on her cheek. Alice returned home, only to find that her parents were still waiting for her.
Well, it's almost 11.
It was really good ice cream. Really good. Okay. Good night.
I looked like that after our first date.
Yeah. That's what worries me.
Next day, Alice invited Daniel over and lied about him being a college student. But her father had already figured it out, and so began the test of Daniel. The soldier on guard duty took a furtive look at the officer. He was secretly in love with his daughter. That day Alice took Daniel to her home for dinner. She told her parents that they were just friends, but the way they looked at each other could not be fooled. Alice lied to her father that Daniel was a college student. She could help herself with her English, although her father didn't tell her daughter off, but he showed unkindness to Daniel. At the end of lunch, he not only asked Daniel to clean up the dishes, he also brought him tea and water. Even the mother said he was going too far. In the middle of the night, father asked Daniel to clean up the garage, which was full of debris. Daniel didn't refuse. He just put his head to work. Even when Alice reminded him that he had a 6 a.m. roll call tomorrow,
He's crazy. You don't have to put up with this.
You're worth it.
By the second day, Daniel was called back to clear the weeds. His gloves were also full of holes. Daniel's hands were full of cuts and bruises, but he could only suffer in silence, because he knew all this is his future father-in-law's test. This day Daniel stood guard, but he didn't expect to see an unexpected guest. Alice's father called Daniel a liar. When he returned home, he told his daughter that he would not let her see Daniel again. He said he would move him out of the area. At the end of the day, Alice sneaks out on a date anyway. As expected, Daniel told her that he was about to be promoted, but he couldn't stay here. Alice was very disappointed. She thought Daniel was here to break up with her, but to her surprise,
I want to marry you.
Don't people usually get a ring in these kinds of situations?
I make like $250 a month. Yeah, I can't afford what...
That's okay. I've been saving up for months.
That's why I want to marry you.
Alice says she still wants her father's blessing. It's very important to her. Daniel said yes, and said he would impress the chief with his heart. At that moment, a light came from the distance. It was Alice's father.
Let's go! I will not forget this.
Day 2, Daniel came to Alice's house to talk with his future father-in-law. But when he entered the courtyard, he saw that his father-in-law was cleaning the gun in his hand.
Liar who takes my daughter to make out in the middle of the night.
Daniel comes to Alice's house to propose marriage. He sees his future father-in-law pointing a gun at him, just as he's about to say something. But the chief tells him to accompany him to the training range to shoot first. We'll talk about it when we get there. When he arrived at the shooting range, the chief told Daniel to go in front. He kept playing with the gun in his hand and said how good he was at shooting. Scared, Daniel kept looking back. He told Daniel to set up the target before he could safely exit. Father-in-law raised his hand and shot.
Are you insane?
Daniel was enraged. He mustered up the courage to say,
Chief Nichols,
What?
I'm here to ask for your blessing to marry your daughter.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Neil says I'll give you 2 chances. If you can hit the bottle on the far side, I'll give you my blessing. Otherwise, please leave my daughter forever. Daniel agreed, and as he was about to fire the first shot, Neil kept interfering in his ear, saying that he didn't see eye to eye with him and his daughter. Daniel was a little distracted. The first shot came up empty. The second shot, Daniel quieted his mind. But the bottle still hadn't been broken. Daniel was frustrated, but still chose to keep the agreement between men. He broke up with Alice. Alice was heartbroken. She decided that her father had broken them up. When she returned home, she loudly asked her father why he did this.
He left me! He's gone! Does that bring you joy? I hope so! I hope so! I hope so.
Do you know what that is? You lost me. I'll never forgive you. I'm never gonna forget this. Ever.
At this moment, the father's heart broke. He didn't know if it was wrong to protect his daughter like this. He only knew that it was all for the good of his daughter. He didn't know what to do. The next day, he sat at home, polishing his shiny shoes over and over again. His wife came to him and said, at the beginning, they were not well received by their parents either. Now they've been together for almost 30 years.
Your shoes are clean, honey. It's your conscience that isn't.
Hearing these words, the father was silent. The next day he found Daniel on guard duty again. He asked Daniel why he chose to be a soldier. Daniel replied that the army was everything to him. He treated it like his family. And Neil was satisfied and took out the bottle from that day. He said that even though Daniel had gotten the second shot that day, only the bullet got stuck in the bottle.
So I think you're gonna marry my daughter. Unless you've changed your mind, of course.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir. Hey, show some dignity. God bless you, son.
The lovers are finally together. Daniel and Alice entered the marriage hall, and at this moment the father on stage is also full of tears. Happy blessing for them. Sometimes love is really simple. So simple that the first time you look at you, you are already in love for life.